Well, greetings everybody, and welcome once again to a brand new edition of the Inworld Review. This is a show where we look at arts, destinations, and moreover, people in open simulator worlds on the hypergrid. Open simulator is it's like a game engine in the game world, but it's actually powers virtual world grids. And we live on the hypergrid, which is a system that connects all those grids together. There are a few exceptions, most famously one called Second Life, which predated us a little bit, but nevertheless, it's a great open world all connected together. And yeah, we have different guests for different things. Today, well, I'm going to introduce us first. I'm always getting it confused. Today is the 22nd of October, 1920. No,
1925. That's it.
20,
You got the right date there.
2020.
1919.
That is the second time today I've been on a show and given everybody the wrong date. I was only a century out. Right, 2023, 22nd of October indeed. And of course, we're getting near to, well, for me, I guess it is a silly season. The Halloween has been celebrated for. Virtual World seemed to start the celebrations in July, but now we are literally only a week away. So the excuses can be given for the stuff around. The pumpkins, for one thing. Right, okay, to my left, I have a technical wizard who is always fiddling with the knobs and, when he can, sitting in the process. None other than James Atloud, genius of audio, video, screen scaring, everything.
Oh
Welcome,
my
James.
goodness. Oh my goodness. I just sit here and push buttons. That's about
Well,
it.
that's the point. That is the
Yep.
point.
Yep.
Yeah, but you fiddle with knobs too. It's not all buttons. It's not all buttons.
So many buttons.
Sometimes a knob to be, twirl around a little bit. Right. Okay. On my other side, on my left-hand side, that is another my co-host, Thurza Ember. Welcome, Thurza.
Thank you. I'm proudly knob free since 1983. And I'm glad to be here today. Thank you very much, Val.
Very good. And as always, the dog.
Yes,
The most well-behaved dog in the metaverse.
he is.
He just
Unusually
sits there.
for me.
And when
Yes,
you hear
and
something,
barking.
whenever we hear something barking, it's actually James, not the dog.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
now I
Good
said
to
we
know.
arts destinations and everything else, and of course the people who've opened sim. And talking of people, we have two guests with us today. One chap called Lone
Three.
Wolf. Who's in charge of Wolf Territories, not surprisingly. And is it the second or third time you've been here, Wolf?
This is the third time,
It's just I
and I'm
thought so. But you're a regular on the show. We didn't need to.
I am a regular. Yes,
We
very
didn't need
regular.
to count you in. So you qualify as person, but also destinations because I've been filming on your grid, and
Ooh,
well, I've got about half an hour's worth, and that's only the fraction of the size of that darn grid.
it
But
is.
something to show the while we're talking later. And you brought DJ Illusions with you, so welcome,
I
DJ.
have.
Welcome, DJ.
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
And actually, I'll just ask you, Lone, before we move to our little clip, just if you want to introduce DJ and how
Uh,
it works with you.
okay.
Yeah.
DJ Illusions has been following me around for about 3 years. So
Oh,
Shocking.
before we've actually gone. So we went something like Kitely, and then we went to um, Zeta Worlds, and then we got our own grid. And you kind of been with me on the journey, haven't you, mate?
Yeah,
All the
that's
way
right.
through to where we are today, with with 700 users and all kinds of things going on. So
very,
yeah, it's been quite a journey.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you're not
Yes.
partners, but you're close colleagues.
Yes,
Partners in crime, mostly, I bet.
yeah,
Yeah,
friends.
absolutely.
Yes, there's no awkward touching here, I can tell you.
Okay. Okay. Well, we'll believe that. If
Absolutely.
your avatars don't trust, do it, well, trust you don't do it either. Right. Okay. So, without further ado, we'll be coming back to Wolf after we've taken a bit of housekeeping.
Okay.
be looking at just some brief pictures that Thursday's posted from safaris recently. And before that, I'm going to hand over to Thursday for a little magical interlude that we call Hypergrid Happening. So.
Yes, and here they are again. They happen, and they happen on the hypergrid. So the first thing I wanted to mention is Rice Tyler. Pangea Grid is not famous so much for its live music events as it is for its art, but that doesn't mean they don't have any live music events. Rice plays a bunch of rock music, so he's really, really good. And that event is happening on the 23rd. That is tomorrow. In other words, tomorrow, this time of day on Pangea Grid. So I recommend that. It's a great treat. There's so much to see on Pangea Grid. This particular singer performs on Bourbon Beach. So that will be a fun thing to do between 1 and 2 p.m. Second Life time, or more or less an hour from now, tomorrow, if that makes any sense. 25 hours from now.
Yeah, perfect.
Another cool
How
thing
many
that's
minutes is
happening. Sorry?
So how many minutes is that? Sorry.
Gosh, now you're pressing me after too much wine for that kind of thinking, man. I can't do it. So the next thing up is our safari, which is happening, of course, on Wednesday from this time of day, 12 noon until 2 p.m. on Wednesdays every week. So that's Second Life time, or Grid time if you prefer. We're actually going first to Antifi, which is a Halloween hunt sim built by our big friends. I always call him Ange Mange because I like the sound of it, but it's really Ange Menges. Is more correct, but Martian sounds just better to me.
I always call him Ange, actually. So there you go. You never know.
And Nanny Ferguson, who of course is the creator behind the genius creator. Ash does all the scripting and all puts out all the prizes and everything, but it's really Anani who invents the story behind it. And this one's a super one. It's about creatures from different parts of the galaxy who are all getting together to try and overcome a problem with a toxic plant that is threatening the universe. So it's a really fun Halloween hunt. There are 10 prizes, and as usual, it's super difficult. So look forward to that. And straight after that, we're going to Kinky Haven. Yay, Wendy. We all love Wendy, our favorite person. And she is allowing us to come and visit. Her and the girls over on Kinky Haven have built a really fantastic Halloween build. There are so many good ones this year, but this one is a treat. It's a bit like a fun fair. There's loads of things that you can do. It's really fun, and so we're going to do that on Wednesday. I think everybody will love it. It's combining two really fun Halloween themed events this Wednesday. Another thing that is coming up, and this is this fun new grid that I just discovered. I'm sure it's been around. And it's over on Conectados. I met the people over there today. They seem absolutely gorgeous, really nice people. So if you're free on Friday and you have a little bit of time, around 2 p.m. SLT, drop in on their party and get to know them. They speak Spanish. So it's your opportunity to try out your languages, or just try out your translator. Who cares? Just as good. And another thing I'd like to point out is that on the 29th, that's next Sunday, literally a week from now, there's going to be a Halloween party. It's going to be a good one. You've got Tommy Balboa playing, and that's over on Brogel's Paradise Grid, which is a German grid. So they really know how to do Halloween. So that's going to be a really, really fun event. I plan to be there myself. I love that grid. I love those people. And finally, another group of people that we're quite fond of is the Littlefield crowd. This event is not until the actual 31st, which is, of course, Halloween itself. And they're having their big party. That will be, for me, being in Europe, already well into November the 1st, but I'm going to go anyway, if I can manage to get up in time. And it should be great fun. They always do a really good job. They have the gourmets and they have lots of things to play with and try out over there on Littlefield Grid. So as you can see, this is just the tip of the iceberg of the amount of events that are happening over the next few days. Do try and support OpenSim's events as much as you can. Try and visit a few if you possibly can, because it really does help people be inspired to do more and be more social. And you're always going to meet somebody interesting if you get out there on the hypergrid. There are so many interesting and creative people out there. So what else can I say other than if you have a special event, a project, a party, some kind of art opening or other kind of opening, maybe you teach a class, something else that is coming up on your grid, please do let us know, and we'll be very happy to share it with the public here on Hypergrid Happenings.
I'm reminded, remember that was it Diana Ross and the Supremes way back at then? It's a happening.
Indeed.
It's a soul record, but it was the hippie era and it's the American happening. So anyway, I was thinking wrong theme tune there. Right, actually, it did occur to me. Oh, somebody's landed in. Okay. Yeah, it did occur to me that you mentioned the German grid. In fact, as well as Halloween, of course, they're famous for the Oktoberfest, aren't they? I think there are a few
That's true.
Oktoberfest.
Unfortunately, the Oktoberfest actually happens in September.
Oh, well.
Reasons probably connected to beer. So we're a little bit past that right now.
Yeah, I think I know it's connected to beer. I wasn't sure how. Right, okay. Also, of course, we have it's from Alternate Metaverse Grid. I think I have a clip here.
Oh,
we
yes,
said
please.
that we were going to show. It's just 20
Yes,
seconds
yes.
to advertise their event. So here we go.
Our lovely Sophie made this. We love Sophie, from blah, blah, blah magazine.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Brief.
There you go.
Well, while we're on, sorry.
No, I was just saying that the Cataplexian numbers and Cliff over there on AMB, they really enjoyed the fact that autumn should be more than just Halloween. So the whole month really is dedicated to a huge autumn fest. And we spoke about it last week, you probably remember. So they have lots of things happening, not just necessarily spooky things, but a lot of other things, just celebrating the harvest, celebrating the change in the season, the autumn equinox, and just a lot of fun events also, like fashion shows and karaoke opportunities and readings and things like that. So there's a huge amount of stuff happening over on AMB, and most of it you will find if you look on OpenSim World. You will find it pretty much all of it listed in their events section, and of course on the AMB website as well.
Great. Okay, well, before we move across to our guests, I thought we'd have a look at your blog and in general safaris that have just gone by, really. And some of the other, you're posting quite a few extra things on your blog at the moment, so I'd hate that we sort of missed them. So switching screens, here we are. Okay, Halloween treats. I'm not sure what order it is in. This is Friday, October the 20th, but it is rather topical given what we've just been looking at. So these are some pictures you posted on the blog. You can. I'm not going to show the blog itself. You can tell us about that. But
Well,
Halloween
I
treats.
mean, yeah, I don't know about you gentlemen, how you feel, but there's just so much happening on OpenSim that it's almost overwhelming. And the creation that, some of the things, this is, of course, it's a mystic, Moonglow, and she is together with Hippie. When you go there, it's just like big grief, it's just so well done. It blows your mind. You don't even have time to think about, is this a hunt? Is there a prize or something? The prize is just going there because it's just so beautifully put together. And you feel like you're in the middle of a movie. Just some amazing stuff. And I usually don't cover Halloween all that much. But this year, these three just came to my attention and I couldn't resist writing an article about them. Just beautifully put together. And the creativity and the fun that's going on is just amazing. This one is on Escape to Reality Grid, which is
Yeah.
Mystic Moonlight, and of course Hippie
And you
Boza, I
managed,
believe is how you say his name.
you managed to put yourself on some very strange things.
I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to do that, so I take full responsibility for being inappropriate.
Oh, I mean,
I can
fine.
respect that, Thurza.
Oh, no.
Okay, now this one is a super one. This is where we're going on Wednesday. So this is our lovely Wendy, who we all love, over on Kinky Haven, and her and the different girls. They've each contributed a section to a Halloween build, which is more like a fun fair than anything else. And it's gonna blow our minds, I think, on Wednesday. Just there's so much happening here, and you can jump around for the various different parts and really enjoy them as you experience all kinds of jump scares. There's a Dodgems ride. There are actually a couple of other rides, I think. So loads of things happening, and the cemetery just was incredible. It's very much like a Stephen King novel. It's just apocalypse and spooks and all this crazy stuff happening.
An unlimited number of ghosts heading up into the sky. Yeah, they never stop. Well, they don't stop until the 1st of November, probably. There we go, another one. Oh, yeah. Moody architecture, too.
Yes, it's great. Yeah, and there's loads of stuff happening. I obviously I didn't want to write too much of what's happening because the fun is to go there and see for yourself. So I just kind of put some very vague comments about what's happening. So yes, so definitely, if you can't come on Wednesday with us with the safari, it's definitely a place to visit anytime you get the chance. That is just fun. Oh, so this is the last one, which is Mare Grid, which was my first visit there, which annoys me because I had no idea what a beautiful, talented bunch of people there are over on Mare Grid until just recently. And they had their Halloween party very early. I think it was 2 or 3 days ago. And that is actually the dance floor where they did it. But again, it's one of these sims that there's a dance floor, but then there's all this other stuff going on all around, and just absolutely perfection everywhere you look. The ambience, the weather happening, the statues, just the way everything is set out. When you enter there, you feel like you're in a picture, in a painting. Just one scene after another. Incredible creativity and just beautiful, beautiful content. Lovely stuff.
I remember being fascinated when I finally found where to get these sunbeams. Because,
Yeah, I mean they're pretty widely available, but you have to know how to do it.
yeah,
It's very easy to overdo it.
yeah, I mean, I used to put them in, filtering in, between trees and things, and it just changed the atmosphere, no longer
Mhm.
the trees. There's a sun up there somewhere, just sneaking through. Always has a lot of mood to it, and yeah.
It's beautiful. The whole Mayer family, all of them just seem to have contributed something, and lovely, just lovely. German grid, so again, an opportunity to try out your languages, and yeah, something very strange happening amongst the cornfields.
I wonder whether that was you on. I wonder whether that was you on the
No,
broomstick. I
I
realised
know, no, I can
that's a bit too much for you. Yeah.
deny the rumor.
Okay. Now you had another blog here, which was I forget the day on this. This is MDM rededicated. This is a sort of definitely a piece of hypergrid news, actually. So especially thought we'd look at this one. Here we
Oh
go.
yes, yeah, very quickly. What happened was that the Museo del Metaverso, which began in Second Life 15 years ago, believe it or not, last year was 15 years ago. We celebrated with Rosanna. They've redone their buildings. Basically, that's what it boils down to. They've had various incarnations of the buildings. Because the Museo del Metaverso is a sort of repository for digital art made either in Second Life or in OpenSim mostly. They require quite a big building, and it's quite difficult to display everything because they have all kinds of different stuff by people who are very incredibly famous in Second Life, but perhaps a little bit less well known here. But they also have things like by people like Cherry, Manga, or Tina Bay, and people like that also. And their idea is they want to preserve this art because one day people will realize the value of it in the real world. So they had this rededication of the museum, and there were very long speeches given, which we all enjoyed. And then straight after that, we took a trip around the museum to see the various things that are being built. Velasquez Bonetto, you probably remember him
Yeah.
from Carp Diabolus back in the day in Second Life. But of course, he's very active in Craft Grid together with Rosanna, and they have built this museum together. In fact, it was Velasquez who came up with this latest design. There's a lot of art and there's a lot of nature, and it's, as you can see, it's almost overwhelming the amount of things that are happening in quite a small space. But they have a huge amount of people come over from Second Life who are people who have donated items from Second Life to keep them in OpenSim, because obviously in Second Life,
They might disappear.
space means money. You cannot afford to keep your stuff up for very long. So
And
this is a way that they can, prolong the life of art exhibits that they've made that
Well,
can no longer be shown
why
in
OpenSim is
Second Life.
for OpenSim is a great place for preservation, basically. Whereas in Second Life, you know everything it has to be affordable, so it could it won't necessarily
Yeah, I
last.
mean, it's always a
Yeah,
shame. It's a kind of a little bit of a shame because you wish that the people would realize that there's a huge public here too, and if you cultivate your public, the public will grow, and they tend to kind of more or less deposit their stuff here and just then trot back off to Second Life, which is always a shame. But this gentleman, of course, is not like this. This is Corsaro Nero. He's a best known as a pianist, and he quite often plays music in Craft Grid. But as you can see from the drawings behind you, he's also really a pretty good artist, and he has imported his art to OpenSim. And this was a gallery full of his sketches and his drawings, and he's a sweetheart. So yeah, so we have this huge amount of really good artists right here in OpenSim, and of course then the museum is augmented with stuff that comes from Second Life also.
it's so often the case, actually, isn't it? The creators, are so multi-talented in a way. Musicians are artists, and artists dabble with music, and a lot of overlap because I guess it's just the creative urge. So
Yeah, he's a sweet guy, and of course he's the husband of DJ Ariana rather, who played music for us at the High Festival, if you
right,
recall. Yeah,
okay.
so
Now,
musical family.
I had another post from you here which actually mentions Halloween because of ghouls and ghosty, and that's I don't know how to pronounce it, Ancaster or something. There we are.
I think it's just angst.
Angst. No, Anchor. I thought it was something Anchor Street or something, but it's Angst.
And
Okay.
of course, this is where we're going on Wednesday again. This
Oh,
is
right, okay.
by Ash and Nani. This is just a sort of bit of a taster of the build. As you can see, lots of things to eat.
Ugh. And be eaten by in that case, I think. Yeah. Oh, very, very rich texturing, I must say as well.
Yes, once again, of course, Ange and Nani, they've made a build which is ephemeral, which means that it will only be open for about 2 weeks and then it will be gone.
And
So
this is
definitely,
this is where the hunt is, in fact, isn't it?
that's right. And we get to do the hunt, but a few days later, it will be gone once again.
All,
That's
all
just
managed.
that's their thing. The builds don't stay up for very long.
No museum for them.
No, no, no.
Segue there, I think. Yeah.
I
Ooh,
really like it. It's got this wonderful sort of Middle Eastern Arabian Nights feel to it, with all these portals with strange creatures
are these
coming across
safari
from.
pants?
They are, yes. Apologies. Yes,
I don't
they
know.
are.
Okay. I just I don't think I've seen them before. That's all.
No, probably not.
Oh, very good, very good. And final one here. Oh, yes. It's about
Yeah,
animated cats.
just the panorama, because they're such great builders, the pair of them. It's one sim. It's not a lot of ground, but they managed to fit so. That's a skill in itself, isn't it? You're limited to its space, but you managed to pack so many different things into it,
I
Just
remember
fantastic.
I remember them from previous years actually, and you really
Yes.
if you're lucky and get the clues, and because I work in camera quite a lot, I can probably get it done in an hour. At least I
I
think
always get stuck between two rocks every single
fun because it's
I
just
couldn't walk anymore. It's
I
ridiculous.
didn't bother. I stayed in one place and I cammed around. So I found one and then teleported to it.
You have to
Picked it up.
teleport to it though, because otherwise it won't open for you. You
Yeah,
have to
yeah,
be within
exactly. Yeah,
20 meters of it or something.
a lot
Yeah,
of jumping you have to do, but
sneaky.
it's so great fun. This one looks a bit more building based than landscape based, but it should be interesting. Right, okay. Well, we had a few other things there, including in the week, of course, we went to Beatles Museum, Strawberry Fields, we saw the Lascaux Caves and stuff. I have actual films of those as well as your blog, so that will have to wait for another day because we're limited in time, and it's about time, talking of time, that
Dun, dun, dun.
we move back to our guests. And oh, hang on, let me just check which film is which. There we are. Right, so welcome
Right.
back to Lone Wolf and DJ Illusions. I've got some film here I'm going to quickly talk to while we talk with you and everything else. And I also know that you've got a slideshow you brought with you. So we'll
Indeed.
split it up into threes, really. We'll do a bit of talking over the film and, just running in the background and
Okay.
everything. And then we'll move to your slides and then we'll go back to some film to finish off with. So welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
You are familiar with the routine these days, and also to DJ. I'll just call you DJ, I guess. DJ Illusion.
Yeah, that's fine.
Welcome to you too. You at least are new, so we got a bit of the old and a bit of new, haven't we? As they say on
Yes.
Antique Show.
Yeah.
So, what's new, Wolf? Let's start with that. Basically, I'll start. This film I got here is only 1 minute. It's basically your landing area, so
Yeah.
show that to people in the background here while we're
Okay.
saying that. If it even bothers to move, yeah. So, what's new?
A lot. We kind of had a bit of a growth spurt, and we went from 200 registered users to 400 in about 2 weeks,
Oh,
and basically kind of rebuilt the whole structure of the grid. And that big logo in the middle, that's our new logo, which is much more regal, because we're quite a regal grid, really. So yeah, we've had lots of people join the grid, and it's been growing very, very fast. We've completely so a lot of the tech behind it has been changed and upgraded and expanded, and now it runs really, really fast. And we've got the potential of having millions of regions basically without any kind of lag. And in fact, we have pretty much eliminated lag. I think I can't think of anywhere we have any lag at all.
Yeah,
So
the other day, I mean, obviously, I was on my own filming these, which is useful to for filming. But yeah, it was all pretty quick and stuff. Oh, I
yeah,
didn't
No, what's
mention. I did need to mention something I saw when I landed. You obviously have Podex there, don't you? I don't know whether
we
you
do.
see what's the other one, Kindly Well, but I kept on getting an additional message. It sounded like you have a second monetary
We
supply.
Yes. So basically, people who come to our grid who are renting regions get the choice of using Podex or Globits. So
Right.
they can go into the control panel and just choose which currency they're using. Only because we had some users who wanted Globits and some that wanted Podex, and
Yeah.
so they can actually just go into the control panel, set up their region with Globits and Podex, and I'll show you a bit more about the control panel a bit later.
Okay.
Oh,
It was
but
funny.
before you do that, can you explain to us how you came to have so many more residents? Was that something? Was it a surprise to you? Was it
Um,
some sort of?
yes, it was a surprise. So there's a couple of reasons. So we've had a few little communities join us where they were either hosting themselves or on another grid, and they just decided they wanted to move to us. And I think that's what's caused it. And so it's kind of been a bit exponential from there, that they've come along and then their friends come along, and that's that. I think that's why it's happened. I'm not sure. I
That's actually the nicest way it could possibly happen, isn't it?
Yeah,
That people
I think so.
are
Yeah,
enjoying it so much and they just invite their
exactly.
friends.
Mm.
How wonderful.
And Second Lifers as well. We've had quite a few Second Lifers come over who, when they find out the cost of our regions versus Second Life, they go, "Why am I in Second Life?" You know, I mean,
Brilliant.
so our prices have changed quite a lot because the grid has now very, very highly tuned, so it takes us a lot less resources to run a region than other grids probably. In fact, and certainly
So you're
Second
saying
Life.
that's
So
dropped your prices? That's
yeah,
caused a drop
the
in your
cheapest
prices?
region we do
Wow.
a 1024 by 1024 region. That's 16 Second Life sims with 7,500 prims for just $10 a month, or around $10 a month.
Wow.
And you can upgrade at any time and add more prims, right up to 1.2 million prims. So that's the old racetrack there.
Good
So
Lord.
yeah, so that's kind of happened. But what's really odd is the way we've always been a community grid, and that's like our ethos, is that we're about community. And what we've found now is we've got quite a few different communities, and then we have there's one big community which is all of us together, but those little communities who set themselves up on our grid, whether they've been a grid itself, like, I mean, just this week we had a grid move to us, and or they're just a bunch of people who work together on things. So yeah, it's been really exciting, the growth in the grid, but supporting them has been a whole nother story.
always.
You know.
Oh,
um,
this is the bit where I found the little door to the theatre, and I was like,
oh,
God,
that's right. Yeah,
this
yeah,
is big.
yeah. So I built that actually from various bits of mesh and things. So basically, this is where we
Fantastic.
have our community meeting, which is basically, it's like a presentation, and then we all discuss stuff. But we've also started. So if you come to our welcome, you'll see that there's a top 5 regions sign, and that's dynamic. And I built that, and it runs off the databases, so it knows dynamically where everyone is. So it's really easy to find other people on the grid if you want to go and have an explore or have a chat with someone. And today, I had a couple of other grid owners, and we were having a chat at one of my homes, and another 9 people turned up. It was so cool.
Really?
It was really
Wow.
impromptu. There wasn't, it wasn't an open sim world. It wasn't announced, because people can see, and actually, if you use our new search thing, you can see where people are.
Yeah.
We've also got a new marketplace. So what we a lot rather we have been thinking a lot about marketplace for a number of months and having some interesting discussions, and we kind of came to the point where we didn't want to have what Second Life, Kitely, and all that sort of thing happen, where they have a load of products online. You go to a website, you click a button, and it delivers the product to you. We decided we wanted to get people to visit the grid and to actually come and visit the places and the shops. So our marketplace is actually, so the region owner can go into their control panel and set up shop in the control panel, and then it actually doesn't say you can buy a door here. It actually says this is a region that sells stuff. Go and have a look. So
What a good
that's the way we're
idea.
moving. Rather than having people just buying stuff online, anyone can do that. What we want to do is we have it so that it's really easy to just go and explore the shops.
Well,
Because
I
we have
agree
got
with
some
you because I
amazing
think
shops.
a lot of people make things to give away, big or sell even, but because
Yep.
they want to encourage people to come and see the other things that they've made, they want them to enjoy the overall creation. So yeah, what a great
Yep.
idea.
Yeah, exactly. And we have got some amazing regions on our grid. I mean,
Yeah.
thinking about Luna's places, Luxor and her store. We've got Blindside Motors, which is the biggest car dealership you've ever seen. This guy is obsessed with cars, and he's got all kinds of cars you can go and get there. We've got a new one of the grids that's just come across. They've got some special stuff that they are licensed to have from Second Life, that's exclusive to them. And all you have to do is you go onto our grid, you hit the search button, and it all appears. All the classifieds come up, because that all works on our grid now. And the marketplace, so you can explore there, or you can find out where people are if you want to go and meet people. And it's working really well. Because it sort of puts
I think
people in touch with
it's
each
good
other.
because your grid is so big that some people might have the feeling, well, it's a very big grid. I'll never meet,
Yep.
I'll never run into anybody. And sometimes that's exactly what you want. You don't really want to run
Exactly.
into anybody,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
humans are gregarious by nature, so there is
Yeah.
that temptation. Well, where are people? Why are they
Right,
there?
right.
There's probably something interesting there. Let me go and see what it is. So yeah, what a great idea.
And that's really true, because I'm like that. Sometimes I don't want to meet anybody. I just want to go and find a little place. And the thing about this is, because our land is so inexpensive, we've got a different ethos. And it was a really interesting discussion today about Second Life, and about one of the issues with the dramas in Second Life. There's always a lot of dramas, and we were wondering whether it was something to do with the fact that it's actually quite a small space with lots and lots of people. So there isn't any space. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So whereas
Mhm.
with OpenSim, and this is true of all of OpenSim, not just Wolf Territories Grid, because land is cheap. Inexpensive. There's a difference between cheap and inexpensive. It's inexpensive because the tech we need to make the land is a lot less. That means we have a lot more land, and it's really funny when you come over, get someone from Second Life who had a tiny little parcel on Second Life, and suddenly they've got 16 Second Life sims to themselves.
I've often made the comparison. I mean, apart from calling OpenSim Second Life's sort of distant cousin, is the one is more like it's big, but it's like a huge city, a metropolis, whereas out here is wild open countryside. It's
Yeah, yeah,
the atmosphere is that much different.
yeah,
Uh-uh.
exactly,
Never a
exactly
short
right.
space. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
exactly.
it's
And
great that you have the option to be by yourself if you wish, and to also put space between you and somebody who you maybe don't get along with too much.
Yep.
We can all get along with each other fine if we don't have to see each other all the time. That's usually how that works. So
Yeah.
what a brilliant idea. And
Yeah,
so
so that
so really you've managed to bring costs down. You passed that reduction in cost onto your clients and onto your tenants. That's great.
exactly, and that has encouraged people to come on board who haven't got a lot of money or just want to try it out. To those who are really serious builders and need lots and lots of prims. But of course, the big thing about this grid is that everything's joined together. So you can get in a boat from one side and sail all the way to the other, and it's a long way. So one of the things we've done with the tech is to make the region crossings are instant. Sometimes you don't even notice you've crossed a region. They're so fast.
And
So that's
that's something I always found annoyed me a bit in Second Life when it came to coastal regions was you had sea, but there are areas of sea that don't exist. It's just an illusion
yeah,
for an empty sim, whereas you've got others that are actually you can put a boat on, and it's always awkward if you sort of come to the barrier
yeah,
and
and
there's
you don't know.
lots more ocean. Why can't I carry on?
Yeah, yeah,
Whereas the things like that really aren't too much of a problem here at all, especially when you're rezzing giant regions at a time.
So DJ,
yeah.
what's your experience of all this as your part of
I
this
mean,
adventure?
to be quite honest, it's a funny story actually. When I first started off with Learn, we was literally stood on a mountain, weren't we, Learn?
Yeah,
There was
yeah,
literally just the two of us. And the way it's expanded, I'm so happy to be there and so excited. We're actually showing now Tropical Illusions. That is actually my region, which really proud of, which Learn helped me build on there. Well, he built that. So I can't build, unfortunately. I'm more of a musician and DJ.
yeah.
But I actually look after the wolf pack as well. So I can get together like people for events, live DJs, and things like that. But as a whole, I just find the whole grid amazing. It's so exciting, what he's got planned and where he's come from. It's just incredible.
This is really funny. I've no idea where that is. What you're looking at on that film now, not a clue. I've got a
Found a lot of farmland, and I decided
yeah.
I got to the horses and called it quits.
I've got a feeling it's City of Serenity, which is up north.
Yeah.
But it's just like every now and then someone goes, "Hey, come and look at my region," and I'm thinking, "Really?"
Actually, I
When you
think
get there, it's amazing.
I think you're right. I remember heading to seeing the name City of Serenity, and I thought, oh, well, that's good. Get a nice urban city bit. There wasn't any. It's a farm, a city of serenity, and farm didn't quite equate in my mind.
Yeah,
But
I think to be fair to them, it depends where you go because they have 100 region pack,
oh,
so they
right.
have 1600 Second Life sims effectively. So if you go to City of Serenity 55, it definitely is a city.
Oh, okay. It's like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but I think you just happen to land on the farm bit, so I'm pretty sure that's theirs. It looks like their roads.
Yeah.
So
So how does that work? So that you basically have obviously your grid is huge, and then
yeah,
you have different communities, different groups of people who've joined Two Wolf Territories as a group. So they
Yep.
form their sort of mini worlds, and that's the same thing happens in OS Grid. You think of Tropicana, for example, or there's many others similar, which they've got a bunch of sims, but they kind of operate as a community within
that's
the
right.
grid. So
Yeah.
so really, what is the glue that joins all this together? Is it the music events, or what would you say?
We
How does
we
that
are a
join together?
bit different to OS Grid in the sense that we, and, OS Grid is obviously made up of lots of everybody else's servers, so you can get any old PC or server and connect it to OS Grid, whereas we've actually got a whole infrastructure. So we've got our own cloud that's running this. We're not running on AWS or anything like that. We've actually got our own servers that are running all this. So the people that join our grid, in a sense, are, whilst they can have their little communities, they're also part of the bigger community, if you know what I mean.
I've just paused the film now because it sounds like what you're talking about might relate to the slides you've got. So should we swap?
Oh, yeah,
screen?
we could do that.
And
Let's
you
do that.
give us your pep talk on the slides, because I know there's quite a lot of, like before we've talked to you, there's a lot of technical stuff about your back end and things like that. So we've still got another 10 minutes of this to go later, but maybe
Oh,
we'll
okay, that's
slide
cool.
show,
Go
which
back
is
to it.
so yeah, exactly. So you know
So,
how to run the slides, don't you? So
yeah, I've done all this before,
yeah, of
tons of
course you
times.
do. Of course you
So,
are.
our website and all the stuff is actually custom built from the ground up. So we basically got the whole thing, and it's been improved and built as people have gone along. And there's a really good video. If you go to wolf-grid.com, there's a really good Wolfie video to start you off. This is the region control panel. In fact, this is the control panel for everybody who gets a membership on the grid. But if you have a region, you get to use this. But obviously, you only see your region listed. This is because I own the grid, so I can get to everything. And the regions all come with a control panel, and this is the control panel. You can see it's got tons of options on it, including our terrain generator. So if you get a region on our grid, you can click a few buttons and have a really nice terrain with mountains and rivers and everything, and it's all AI generated. So I've actually built. It
Oh,
took me about 3 months to write, but it actually getting it fast enough was the main problem. But
is it
so
is it your own AI you've built
yeah,
yourself, or is it sources one of the big AI
no,
things?
I built it from the ground up. Basically, it uses some really clever maths, even though I say so myself. Some clever maths to actually generate the terrain, and you click regenerate, and it'll just keep generating terrains till the cows come home, and not one of them will ever be the same. So
Sounds like my old fractal explorers,
yeah,
change it.
it's kind of like that, I guess. Yeah, and then what
So
you do is
so
you just
does that work on how big an area does that work over? So is it
10
like a
yeah, they're all 1024 by 1024, so it just works on that. So
that's pretty
and
good,
then
isn't it? Wow.
yeah, and then you click a button and it puts it on your region. And if you don't like it, you just generate another one. But you've also got functions like there.
Nice.
You can flatten all the land on your region. You can drop it down to the ocean. You can split your land into 16 squares. You can change your region name. You can restart your region. You can even set the number of script threads and things like that, so we can balance your region a little bit. You can set up your shop on the marketplace. You could do just about anything in there. You could look at the console for your region.
The other thing I like about
Yeah.
what you're showing me here is that you've brought it all to a graphical user interface. So there's not only a lot there and probably quite complicated, but anybody who's used any particular kind of software is probably familiar with dials and lines.
Yeah,
In.
exactly.
Whereas the back
It-
end of a lot of OpenSim grids is just like a text page with sort of
yeah,
not very helpful, and especially if you don't know the terminology. Whereas
no,
I
exactly.
can't see
So,
this in
Absolutely.
detail, but
It's very user friendly, isn't it?
it looks
Very
attractive.
yeah,
user friendly.
I mean, the whole idea behind it was I don't want to deal with any tickets. So, and in fact, I haven't had any tickets for about 3 weeks.
Oh, well, that's
4
good.
weeks, don't be a month now. But basically, everything anyone needs to do is in that control panel, and
But yeah,
you can add the users access to that control panel for your regions if you want to. You could. There's a bulk restart, so if you want to restart all your regions, you can do that. Um, that's no problem. Finish with that. Okay, so there's an awful lot on there, but it's actually not very complicated. It's much easier than I know with a lot of grids, people have to raise tickets and try and find the grid owner and try and work out how to do it themselves. With this, it's all on there, and the clever the clever tech.
sorry, I've just noticed the biggest button of all says kill.
Yeah, that's nobody ever uses that now, but like we don't do rolling restarts on our grid anymore. We just don't have to, and that's because
Yeah.
I've tuned mono and OpenSim to the level that it doesn't have any memory leaks and it just stays running all the time. So we don't have any rolling restarts. The thing just works. Got
I
this.
have
Hello.
sorry.
Proximal, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, so this isn't for the users. Okay, this is just showing you the servers running with all the containers running on the servers that run the grid. But that's not all of it. We've got a 1.6 petabytes of space for the assets, and that's stored in what's called R2 cloud storage. And since we last met, I rewrote all the asset service
Oh.
to use R2 cloud storage because the first bill for the first month of R2 cloud storage with our assets was $280. So
Ooh.
I rewrote all that, and my last bill was $18.
Good grief. What a difference. Wow.
What a difference! But it's mainly because content delivery network with Cloudflare, so it's really fast, and it comes to like a local server with a lot of the content that you pull down, like the map images and everything like that. So it's all cached through the internet, basically. Okay.
That's brilliant.
Right. What's next? Yeah, that's our R2 cloud storage. Very boring. This is me with my pet cat Mittens. I didn't bring him because there's too many other animals here, and he's not going to like it.
Yes.
That's a
He'll
cat.
start
Yes,
eating things. So this is our welcome area, and you'll notice the new logo that we've got, which we already spoke about. This is the theatre, which you've already spoken about. This is Wolf Manor, which is one of my houses, and there's a mesh cross
Lovely.
there that I've been working on. So I got that house on Kitely. Actually, you can actually buy stuff on Kitely and get it delivered to all territories grid straight away. There's a narrowboat there, which I actually live on a narrowboat in real life. In fact, I'm sitting there now.
Ah,
So talk a bit about the map. So the map is
wow, look at
absolutely
that.
huge. Each of those tiny little squares is a 1024 by 1024 region.
This was what I saw yesterday when I was constantly trying to decide where should I jump to.
Yeah, you know what? That's the
You know
same
what I
for me
mean?
when I think, let me go and explore. And I think, well, good Lord, I wouldn't even know where to start.
Yeah,
So
and that's the
I
great
just
thing.
need to get my act together. Don't
I actually
It's just
opted for
a
the
great thing.
I opted for the densest regions with lots of the smaller regions on them. And
Right,
there's got to be
right.
something there, random.
Yeah.
Just stick a pin in the map and go.
I don't know.
But isn't
I'm
it?
kind of drawn to those snowy looking places up the north there. That
Yeah,
looks like it must be very
That's
cool.
our national park actually. So
How
the
cool.
goal there was to build an open space that was
Yeah.
just a huge national park, and that's what that is. You can take a boat round it, whatever you like. And then we've got Blindside Estates to the north. We've got Chopper's Lot, which is City of Serenity. There's so many bunches, and down right to the south there's Araya's Place, which is another 100 region pack, and then there's hundreds of little people who've just rented one region.
Yeah.
But these days it's not staying like that because they tend to rent one region and then think, oh, maybe I'd like another couple. But because I can have like cheaper regions with less prims,
Yeah.
then it's financially viable to do that. But
Right.
we do special deals. Like I had a guy rent 25 regions the other day. We can do deals on that if need be.
If you economize on prims, often it really pays to
Yeah.
just get lots of land and give that spatial feel to
Oh,
everything.
exactly. The thing was
Exactly, I
about it
agree.
is that pricing has been really difficult. So I looked at other grids and what they were doing. I talked to my users and I sat down and thought, wait a minute, what is it that costs money? And it's really down to prims and scripts because they take server resources.
Yeah.
Right.
So if you had 50 regions with one region with loads and loads of prims and scripts on it, that's what's going to take the server resources. So I'm going to charge you according to the server resources you can use. And then if you want
Right.
more server resources, you just pay more. So you can buy more prims for your region. It's
Yeah.
not a problem. It's all on the
But
shopping
then
site.
you're going to maybe have another region that's basically mostly ocean or something
Yeah,
for
yeah,
your
exactly,
sailing
exactly.
delights.
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
exactly.
how, when it comes to resources and prims, I mean, how do like I mean, obviously you support meshes these days.
Of
Uh,
course, yeah,
that presumably is more economical on resources if people,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
have a big mesh house or
yeah,
something that is all one piece, really.
yeah,
I
yeah,
think a
exactly.
prim count, hasn't it, in theory, but it's much
Yeah.
less if it were prim. So,
And there's all kinds of ways to economise on prims, but the land's so cheap, you just add
yeah.
more prims. It's just easier. This happens all the time. They buy 7,500 prims and they go, oh, actually, it's only $10 a month more for another 10,000 prims. So yeah,
Back
um,
in the day when I was on Great Canadian Grid, I think I thought like that. Oh, I'll just have another sim next door, and then I'll have a few extra prims there.
yeah, that's it.
Spread them out a bit, and I'll have the half price region there with nothing on it. you know,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, like ocean sort of stuff. So,
yeah. But it is encouraging people to build in a different way. You do build in a different way when you've got more space. You have a mountain because
True.
you can.
yeah,
It's like I've got a lady who bought. She's lovely, and she bought a region the other day, and she was like, "I think I've bitten off more than I chewed." Then I showed her the region generator, the terrain generator, and she went click, and she said, "Oh, wait a minute, I'll put my house in the middle. Job done." It's
you
literally
know,
like that.
somebody who's got that kit like yours for the region generation. There's one thing that I wish somebody could do, which technically it's really not possible because your terrain, well, it's generated like a mesh ultimately, isn't it? But I used to
Kind
love,
of.
used to love my
Uh,
cave. I used to love caves and tunnels,
yeah,
and I've
yeah.
always wished I could get like create a mesh with a mountain. And then sort of
Yeah,
somehow
yeah.
drill a hole through it, but there's no way you can do that. It's
Yeah,
really
unless it's mesh. I mean, I could make it actually generate a DAE file of the mesh of the terrain.
yeah.
But then still you can't put a tunnel in it. This is worth thinking about for the future,
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah, it's an
Anyway,
aspiration.
Yeah, I find that very interesting because I was just talking about somebody yesterday about that. They're interested. That's what they're doing at the present time. They're making mesh terrains
yeah,
to sort
yeah,
of plop on a region. And my first thought was, well, that probably works really well if you just have a standard, the legacy size region, or even maybe 1024. But then if you're going to go beyond that, isn't there going to be
yeah,
a huge problem
yeah,
when you get to the edge and you're trying to make the two marry up exactly, especially if it's a very randomly generated
yeah.
piece of land? And so, yeah, no, I definitely the land generator has to be better. I would have
It's
thought.
just, I mean,
To
it's
be
just,
To be
it's
honest,
just
back in one when I had one of the Outworlds grids, it's the equivalent, 5 by 5, 25 regions really, and what I did is I actually ended up covering the whole 25 regions in mesh forms, which I then textured to be landscape. And I remember the hardest job of all was actually going across all 25 regions afterwards, deleting the real terrain
yeah, yeah,
because it wasn't necessary anymore. The mesh had an
yeah.
overhang
Got you.
into, and of course, by deleting to zero, height, the whole terraform, land disappeared. There was well, I won't say it disappeared, but it was much more lightweight to actually have the
Yeah,
whole
of course.
ground smash.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we also now we've got the way that the grid draws the terraforming is much faster, so that kind of helps. But also, just to say, if you wanted to do that on our grid, you go into the control panel, you go 0, click.
Yeah.
That's it. It's done.
How
There won't be
complicated
any
is that?
no complicated. Okay, so
I remember problems I used to have. I used to have
That's my kind of solution.
I used to have a little prim, which was a flattener. You probably know the thing.
yeah, I know the things.
Actually,
Yeah.
The prim down, and then you manually bring it down to ground level, and then you slide it all around everywhere. But of course, it never really flattened. Every time you flattened one bit, it raised the bit next door.
Yeah, no, it doesn't really work. So it's much better to do the thing we were.
Yeah, it took forever.
That's so true.
In fact, we did have a user the other day. It was the same lady who just bought the land. She had one of those bulldozers, and she was driving around going, "This is going to take me hours. Load, what do I do?" And I went, "Click that button." Oh, okay, there you go.
She thought she could bulldoze the land with the bulldozer.
Oh yeah, she wanted to do the whole thing, but she was right. That's the old way of doing things.
If that's what you want to do if that's the style, if that's your style, no judgment.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't. It was
there
just,
are other
just
ways.
she didn't know about the region generator, the terrain generator, so now she does. Anyway,
I have another question for you guys, and that's about entertainment on the grid, because I know it's a residential grid for sure, but it's also a destination for events. And I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about how many events do you have every week or every month, or what about things that are coming up as well?
Okay, so it does vary. It does vary. We've just had Luna launching her beautiful Luxor event. I don't know if you saw that. Oh, it was amazing. And in fact, we were there. We were dancing Thursday.
We were, yes.
We danced at it, yeah, and it was just brilliant. And so there are a few new clubs opening, but it's funny. It's not really a clubby grid. We do have events, but it's not like the mainstay of the grid, because the mainstay of the grid is community. So you will see more events as time goes on, but they will be by different communities offering events. We've also today launched our new radio station, which Wolf Territories Grid Radio.
Who runs that? Is that Lucius? Is that on you?
It's basically we're going to be possibly doing a show, aren't we, Lone? Me and Lone doing a show on different people.
Yeah.
But
we're going to do different
shows, aren't we? Yeah, but not only that, within with Wolf Territories Radio, we're going to get people on who maybe don't even have full regions, but maybe just a single region, talk about their region. Just maybe get everybody involved.
Yeah,
that's a great idea.
It's going to be like a community radio station, so you can book a slot, and you can say, I want to do an hour of whatever music or whatever, and then you just take over the radio station for that hour. So it's like a community radio station. It's brand new. Even the tech isn't quite there, but we've got the Shoutcast stream set up, and we're giving away because we've actually got 5 different radio stations already on our grid. So we're giving away a free radio at Wolf Mountain, which is already pre-tuned to the radio stations, including the Wolf Territories Grid one. So you'll see that develop as time goes on and we get more people involved. Where on earth is that?
So that means that people can be building and doing their own thing, and they can be listening to the radio and staying in contact.
Yeah, exactly.
That's great.
I don't know where it was, but I've discovered this wonderful cave inside.
That's nice, yeah.
You never know with Mal. He'll reveal to you parts of your grid that you didn't even know.
I've never seen that before. Honestly, never seen that before. Oh, anyway, this happens. That's really nice, but I've never seen that before. Good grief. I'm going to have to go and look for that. I've no idea where that is.
I can't even remember
where it is.
I can't remember where it was. The map.
Ask Mal, he won't remember.
It's just so funny the way people get lost on our grid. You get lost, you find a place, you go, oh,
it's an island.
I didn't know this was here.
It's an island, self-contained island, and it's got a puddle.
Yeah.
If you look on the map, it probably has a puddle on the top.
Yeah, I suppose it'll look like that. Yes. Okay, good.
But no, touching on that, what we was talking about with Wolf Territories Radio, we came up with the idea today, didn't we, Lon? Where we're going to
Yeah.
have a community chat. So not people just talking about events, talking about their land, but anybody who wants to come from any other grid wants to talk just as a general chat. You know, we think it might be a good idea, don't we, Lon?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I know where that is. Good. Okay,
Yes.
so just quick look at my slides again.
Yeah, sure. Let's.
Yeah.
So,
I'll pause the movie again, and let's move back to the
so
slide.
just
so we can finish
just
there.
quickly. So if you hit search, this page, which you can't really read there, but you can see all the information that's there. That's all stuff that's contributed by members of the grid. So you've got marketplace, you've got the top 5 regions with the most people on them. You've got classifieds, and the grid is actually hooked up to Discord, so that if you post in the events Discord events channel on our Wolf Territories Grid group, it'll actually appear here in World as well. And we've actually got a region owners pack. So if you're a region owner at Wolf Territories Grid, and it comes with a selection of things that only work in our grid, but one of them is a welcome mat, and you put it down, and it actually tells Discord that someone's arrived at your region. So you can actually look in our Discord and see people moving around the grid.
Is what we're seeing there a web page which is linked to Discord, or is
Yeah,
it that? Right.
yeah. So basically, well, we've actually got our own Discord bot that deals with all this stuff. So if you hit search in World, you'll get that page basically. So that's got some destinations. We've also got our destination guide as well. That's all contributed by people on the grid. So people on the grid can add this stuff to the destination guide.
Right.
So it's all very
the
community
destination guide is a very much overlooked feature on so many grids, because it's one of the, I guess it's obviously it's quite a lot of work to put the thing together, I'm sure.
It is, yeah,
But
yeah.
it certainly does give people a chance to understand what is available on a grid. If you're just jumping in and maybe you went to a different grid to visit the shops or visit a person, or because you saw a name that looked intriguing. And then if there is a destination guide, it's a great way to discover what else is available. Obviously, your grid is huge, so it's almost essential that you have a destination guide, because there's just out of hundreds of regions. But even on a smaller grid, it's interesting because it's very easy to overlook something absolutely fascinating just because the name doesn't leap out and make you think, "Oh, let me go and TP to that particular region."
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a great feature, and you've always had it, I think. Is that true?
Yeah, we have. It's just developed.
Really?
And the people are adding more stuff to it, and it's going on. Yeah, it just grows. So this is Breathe Resort. This was a 5x5. They came to me a bit desperate. The last grid they were with, the disk crashed. So they came with this enormous OAR file. This is the one that's got 75,000 prims and 15,000 scripts on it. And he said to me the other day, it's the first time in 10 years it's run properly, that we've actually been able to use it. So they're really excited. And this guy actually, George, he runs a YouTube channel, and he's going to get started on his YouTube channel again. So, but that's really worth a visit. There's a lot to see there, and George will give you a tour if you've got some time. Talk a bit about Wolffest. This is Wolffest. We're working on it at the moment. So this is a place where anyone in the community can have a shop or a stand, and basically tell people about their regions. And we've decided to go with like an international theme with different monuments from around the world. And the Wolf Territories Grid radio station is actually next door. So we've actually got in fact, this is our stage for the Wolf Territories Grid radio station for our interviews and things. Very exciting.
So how long is that going to be, your Wolf Fest? What's the plan there? Is that a month-long thing, or?
It's permanent, but we will have a weekend during the year, which is on the anniversary of our grid every year.
Oh.
So like the third year, we'll have a weekend where we have events and things there. But it's actually,
do you remember
what
there weekend that is? What month that will be?
Not a clue.
You're
but
such
it
a
will
man.
Yeah, well, it will be arranged so that it doesn't conflict with anyone else's shows.
Very
Good
good.
luck
I
with
was
that
just
one.
worried. No Sundays, please.
Yeah, no. So yeah, we're going to try an event. We might, Mal, we might invite you over to do your show on our grid.
We
Well,
got,
that would be
believe it or not, we
fun.
got multiple studios all over the place for emergency.
Yeah, we'll come and
Yeah,
annoy
well,
you.
come and annoy us.
I think this should be called the Wolf World's Fair.
The Wolf
Yeah,
World's Fair, yeah, so like that.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, we've called it Wolf Fest so far.
I
No,
love
Wolf
it.
World's Fair. But the idea was actually that it would be like the World's Fair. So there'll be lots of things there where you walk around and look at these enormous monuments and things like that. But interleaved is everyone else's is people's grids. So that's really going to be really, really fun.
Yeah, in
But
fact,
again,
looking at all those different monuments, so do you have people from different parts of the world? Are most people English speakers, or do you have a sort of various foreign
no,
contingents?
I do have a little kind of group of people that are that don't speak English, so it's great fun communicating with them. So yeah, we do have people from all around the world using the grid. So there's always someone on the grid 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
We are planning to do in the spring another edition of the Hypergrid International Expo, which of course is a foreign language based idea, to have each one. So yeah, if you find you've got residents there in a particular language,
we do. I know of some that are.
Let them know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yes, I've getting to the end of the film here, about 5 minutes left. So just it's a lovely little quaint little houses. I think they're British, aren't they?
I think that's in the Wild West kind of area there.
Yeah.
That is, isn't it? Yeah, that's the Wild West
like
area
an
there.
octave, I think, to the right, camera looking, is back to that sort of saloon or something. I forget.
Yeah. There's loads of like really open spaces. There's loads of towns. There's loads of villages. There's just that's Luna's graveyard.
Yeah, and well, being Halloween, I thought that I saw this.
Yeah, that's good. We also have a memorial reach, which is specially set up for where. In fact, that is it. I think is that the memorial region?
Yes,
it is. I think.
It's the
So this is where people can set up memorials to people who have passed in real life.
Yeah, I found this by accident. I just panned over a mountain, and there it was.
Right. Yeah, we don't. The thing is, we don't kind of advertise it in the same way. Well, I just did, but
I think
we don't kind of advertise it. We just try and let people be quiet about it, and you can put down over here is one, in fact, that passed away recently. We've got another one actually. And my cat's there as well. God rest his soul. I miss him so much. Anyway, so basically this is kind of an open thing. This has been only up for a couple of months. So obviously our goal there is just to provide a quiet place for people to remember within the grid. It's all free. Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine that would be hard to find if you didn't have a landmark for it.
Exactly. So if you just search memorial on the map, that's my club. Sometimes
I think it's the mark of a community when everybody has also the opportunity to remember people who are no longer with us for one reason or another. Exactly. It's a lovely tribute to the fact that it is a community. It's true. It's a virtual world, but it's a virtual world made of real people, and it's easy for folks to overlook that fact. But of course, we do care about each other, and it's nice to be able to remember in such a pleasant and serene way. To beautiful idea.
Yeah, it's part of the goal of it is to just like have an enormous expanse of space, stick some people in it and see what happens. And that was the goal back in Second Life when I had 3 low prim sims. It was just horrible. It was so tiny. We just, but now we've got what I dreamed of, which was to have, miles of mountains and rivers. And sometimes it is just like you said, it's just terraformed. That's all it is. Because you can get on a horse and ride across it,
It creates that vastness, though, of wide open spaces. And I imagine it's so huge and empty that anybody who's got that kind of colonization urge will actually
Yeah,
be
yeah,
attracted by that because they can say
exactly.
instead of saying we want a region, they say I want to park in that bit.
Yeah,
Can I
yeah,
park
and it
in
can
that bit?
happen. Yeah, exactly. We
Yeah,
can, there is that. I am thinking about all this in terms of, in fact, that actually does happen where people will go, I want to take a region, and we, we can put them in the middle of that expanse.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? We can even give them the terraform that's on the region that's there already, but they have their own
Mm,
region in that expanse of space if they want to do
yeah.
it. So when you rent a region, the grid will automatically put you somewhere, and then we can move you afterwards if you want to move.
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah, I love
pioneering
it.
spirit, isn't it? Sort of, I want to stake my claim, and you don't always
Yeah, that's it.
have the imagination to do your own build. You just want to stake a claim in this wonderful, vast expanse,
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
plus your whole thing,
I see
there's so many.
you've got a little, this is the end of the film, but I see you've got a little Christmas thing in the works here. I don't know what
That's
that's
Mhm.
for.
that's Breathe Resort. So
Yeah.
yeah, he's got lots of things in the works. There's so much there. There is so
But
much
the
there.
great thing is your technology has allowed so much agility. So the region is in one place, you move it to another. It seems like that's not too difficult. You don't like your terrain, you could change that with just a couple of clicks.
Yeah,
You want to change the name of your region. Ooh, crumbs, that's complicated. I don't know if we can do. That's usually what most people would tell you.
yeah.
Instead, no,
We
no,
don't do that.
we can do
No.
that. So,
Yeah,
and that I think is a huge appeal to a lot of people, that they make a decision and they don't have to necessarily stick to it. They have many options to change their mind,
yeah.
and
Exactly. Exactly.
that promotes growth, doesn't it? It promotes
Yeah.
a
Yeah,
sense of
exactly. Exactly.
space and possibilities and a very positive vibe.
I mean, who wants to raise a ticket to change the name of their region?
Well,
No,
yeah.
What
no,
Or be
they
told, well, I
fill a
don't know if
form.
it's possible.
unless you're a
Yeah.
Yeah,
ticket, unless you're a raising ticket addict, and there are too many of them
yeah,
around.
that's it. Yeah, there are. Yeah, yeah. I do actually
Well,
have
there are
contact.
those.
I do have contact. I mean, I work with a lot of other grids. In fact, just today, right while we're doing this, I'm transferring 438,000 files from one server to another for another well-known grid who their server went down, and we're just busy fixing it. So I do work with a lot of other grids, and I do talk to the tech guys from other grids, especially the ones that look after the tickets.
Yeah.
And they look at what we've got, and they go, "I wish we had that. I'd have nothing to
Mm.
do."
And
You
then
know.
it's like, well, I can offer it to you.
No, well,
Tell me,
there's there's
just
yeah, there
interrupting.
isn't.
Sorry, I was just going to say I've got a feeling that there's about 1 minute to go before James actually makes a loud noise. I actually want to ask James if he's got any questions, because I know in the past he's been intrigued by the background tech and stuff that you've got. So James,
Oh
any
yeah, do ask away.
No,
any questions?
no questions, but it's just absolutely impressive. I mean, it's so functional and it's so great for users. So I really admire it.
You're
Oh,
stuck for
great
words. You're
job.
lost for words, James. That is
That's
a
right.
good.
That's right.
There are no questions. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, well, as I say, he's got his button on the thing. But to round up, anything you plan to say that you've missed, and also, I mean, you've been quite quiet, DJ, but
Yeah, you can talk now, mate.
any events coming up, for example, that you're in charge of that you'd like to promote?
Yeah, I mean, going back to events, I'm looking at getting a few people on the events in Wolfpack. Probably looking at a couple of singers. I DJ myself as well. I actually DJ'd at Luna's place the other
Yeah.
week, which I absolutely loved. So many people came, and I think they really enjoyed themselves. But just touching back onto the control panel, what Ron was talking about earlier, I actually have access to the regions. So if anybody ever comes to me and says, "Can you restart my region?" For some reason they can't do it. All I have to do is click a restart, and that's it. It's
Yeah,
done.
Does
yeah,
it? Yeah,
Uh,
lovely.
yeah.
it's incredible.
So you
So
feel powerful, and all you're doing really is just clicking a button behind the scenes. I hope you
Yeah,
talk it
you
up a
know,
lot, Illusions.
it's like,
Oh, just give me 10 minutes. I got to find the right page or something.
yeah,
Make
yeah,
it sound like you're really working hard.
it's like having
yeah,
God, it's like having God powers and then finding, but they don't do what you want.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah,
And
But
that's true.
the thing about they don't know how complicated it is at the background, because if you imagine when you click that button, the grid has to go, where's that region? Which server is it on? It has to
Yeah,
find it has to tell that server to buy a region on my grid. What happens is the grid gets told there's a new region to make, and the grid goes and works it out and makes the new region ready for the user. Then it sends an email to the users to say, "Oh, your region's online, by the way." And somewhere along the line, it kind of tells me if it feels like it, and it's like it is all automated pretty much.
yeah, yeah. And I think this is one of the reasons why I love Wolf Territory so much, because it's so automated. How he's designed it, it's it's unbelievable. Really, when you think about how he's done it. Although he does stay up till God knows how many hours, and the times I've
Oh
told him
yeah.
go to bed.
yeah,
It's like,
know
yeah,
that
I,
feeling.
yeah.
but
The worst time was when I was tuning it. When I was tuning OpenSim and Mono, and I was so frustrated that it wouldn't run right, and we get the occasional teleport failure, and there
yeah,
was lag, and I couldn't. It just took me a long, like 2.5 years. It's taken me really to actually get to the bottom of lag. So now we don't have lag anymore. It doesn't matter how many prims or scripts or anything, you won't have lag on my grid.
That's
Okay,
yeah,
wonderful.
before James hits me with the bell, as I said, um, is wrapping up time. Something else I mentioned on our other show a bit earlier, actually, is that the Open Sim Community Convention comes up in the second weekend of
December.
December, and they put out their call for proposals, which is at, I'll read it out, is conference.opensimulator.org is their site. Now, if anybody wants to put in submissions for that, now is the time, because time is running out. But particularly, I'd like to ask you, Wolf. I mean,
Oh yeah, I'd do it.
I think we mentioned this on previous shows, but
Did we?
the
Okay.
technology, the background technology that you use. I mean, I'm sure you get 50 minutes to present about it at the Open Sim thing, and it tends to be it's those background kind of people and the dev
Yeah, yeah.
techs that are there, and I think this would be what you're doing seems to be way ahead of what most other grids are doing. There are people like Outworlds and DigiWorlds who've got their own particular way of doing things, but the whole idea of like you're moving regions around at the like and seamlessly and joining to the
Yeah,
game.
that's it. Yeah,
All this
we just
background tech seems to be totally unique from all the people.
yeah we just we changed 2 fields, hit a button, and the region's moved. That's it. That's it.
No,
Yeah,
I'm
you should
sure.
definitely present at OSCC. That would be fascinating. I hope
Yeah,
you. I think
I'd love
we're
to.
pretty close to the deadline, so
Oh,
get
that's
over
okay.
there,
I'd love to.
make a
Are you inviting me
proposal.
then? Are you inviting? Oh, do I have
Uh,
to do a proposal?
yeah.
well, just tell them what you want to do.
You sort of do, but tell them I insisted you do one.
Mal, I'll tell you what. You write the proposal and send me a copy. How about that?
No, it needs to be. I mean, it needs to be something along the idea of your unique technology and what you're
Oh,
doing with
okay.
it and stuff like that, which only you can actually summarize. But
Yeah, I suppose
the
that's
key
right.
is in the key is the talk. Sort of. The talk before you will be about somebody's virtual electric chain set, and the talk
Yeah.
after will probably be
Yeah.
about a new dance ball. I don't know. You never know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But it tends to be the more technical side of things as opposed to the entertainment of OS Fest or the
Okay.
language thing of what we did. So no, it's a good play. It suits you. It would suit you to be
Suits
presenting.
you, sir. What's the web address again?
It's James will correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's conference.opensimulator.org.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah.
I got it.
and just fine call for proposals and just stick a thing in. And if if there's for reference, just put my name.
Okay.
Last minute people don't do that. It's like forwarded by Mal or something. But yeah, I just think it will make that conference to have you talking there. I mean,
Absolutely.
Oh,
Totally
thank you very
agree.
much.
Would be great.
yeah,
Yes.
you fit. So very definitely. So, anything else, anybody? Yeah, it's wonderful to have you here, James. Anything else?
Nope, I think we're all good here. Nice bunch of viewers watching, so it's good.
Oh, great, absolutely. And actually, we got Frank Gresham. I know that name from OCC or somewhere. He's a new live audience in the studio here.
That's our lovely Frank, who for so many weeks came on Safari. We haven't seen him for a while. So it's
Yeah,
great to have him here in the building and
yeah.
hopefully on Safari
I don't
again
often,
soon.
we don't often
Stalwart of
have people in.
Safari for many years.
Yeah, we don't actually have people in the Inworld always very often. Well, I don't know if Werewolf is one of your people or whether
I
it's
don't think he's
Animesh.
entirely real.
Yeah,
Yes, I'm
I'm
afraid so.
okay. Well, hopefully they'll clap when we. In fact, I'm going to make sure they clap when we go out. But you know what?
Oh,
Okay,
But,
so with that, I don't know. Unless there's anything else you guys have got really quickly to say.
yeah, just quickly, I'd like to. I don't know if Lone would agree with me on this. We, with
no.
Wolf Socials Radio, we would actually like to get you on the show as well, as to.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, I
definitely.
would love that to, see where you came from as far as how you actually started the radio station and how you all got together and that sort of thing.
Right. Well, it goes
Oh
back a long
yes, Mal,
way.
you should definitely go. That would be great.
Got 20 years worth of history here, just in virtual worlds. Forget all the other stuff before. Yeah, sure. Get hold of me on Discord. You got me now, and
Fantastic.
we'll arrange a time and place from there. You're obviously in the UK, so timing shouldn't be
Yeah,
any problem. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah, thank you.
fantastic.
Yes, very good indeed. I'd be happy to do that. So, anything else, anybody, or can I avoid having the bell hit me?
I would
Oh,
just say happy Halloween to everybody, and
oh, yeah.
please support all the many Halloween events that are happening over the next few
Oh
days
God,
and
lost
so many
voice again.
grids. Even if you don't stay
There's
in one
gremlins
place
in this.
for hours on end, you can enjoy so
Hello.
many of the events
Oh, there
are
she is.
advertised over on OpenSimWorld, so it's worth having a look at that and checking out the events page there, because you'll see all the things that are coming up in the next few hours and the next few days. So definitely do support the OpenSimWorld events. It's important to promote the community.
Absolutely, indeed. And do come along on Wednesday for Hypergrowth Safari. It's at noon Pacific time, which is about 8 o'clock European, 9 o'clock European time, 8 o'clock UK time. Always a good thing. And if you remember the beginning of the show, we told you where we were going to be. Fantastic hunt that's only open once a year, and lots of stuff. Okay, well, since it is Halloween, I go on our other show. We often talk about a blog called the Scarred Ghost blog, and we have a sound effect for it, which I think is appropriate for Halloween. So take it away, James.
I love it.
That's really
I,
good. That was for me. That was.
Brilliant.
okay.
I felt right at home then.
I'm going to invite our rare live audience to take us out too. So thank you, everybody. And let me see. I'd like to wish you all a very good morning, very good afternoon, a very good evening, or indeed a good tomorrow, depending on wherever and whenever you are. Take it away, James.